With us this morning, a man who might just be able to help you quit for good this time. Philip Feinstein is from Smokenders. Welcome, Philip.
Morning.
How hard is it to stop smoking?
Quitting smoking is actually one of the hardest things in the world to do. In fact, it's known to be even harder to get off cigarettes than it is to get off heroin, because it involves people in so many areas of their lifestyle. It's a lifestyle thing we're talking about, not just an addiction. And therefore, people need to address all the issues when it comes to quit smoking, not just the physical. There's the psychological, there's the emotional, there's stress, there's people smoke when there's good news and bad news, and the car won't start, and they're on the phone, and after drinking a cup of coffee. It's a very, very complex thing, and therefore people need to look at all the issues.
So how, is there a simple way to stop smoking?
Well, first of all, one of the hardest ways to actually quit smoking is what people do on New Year's Eve. They try to quit smoking, at the strike of midnight.
That's it.
And that's it. Or they're going to solve everything just in that little second of time.
But why is that so difficult? If you sit there and you say to yourself, you're a strong-willed person, you say, right, I'm stopping smoking, this is it, last one, flick it away and...
Andrew, we believe some people can do that. They're very, very lucky. But they are in the absolute minority, because most people who actually do quit smoking suddenly like that, they end up going back to smoking, and of course they then blame themselves, which they shouldn't do, because it's very, very hard to quit smoking. The whole issue needs to be looked at and addressed effectively.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's many, many sides to it, apart from psychological and social and emotional. For example, people who actually quit smoking very often think that they're going to be gaining weight. A lot of women think that way.
I think that's a valid point, because most people think, like I've got friends of mine who say, getting ready for a wedding or something, especially girls, and they say, I'll smoke and drink coffee and I'll stay thin, and they worry that if they stop smoking, they'll pork up.
What they don't realise, it isn't the process of quitting smoking that gets them to actually gain weight. It's the fact that they then start substituting food for every single cigarette, because every time a person has a cigarette, they have about 10 puffs, which means that their hand is touching their mouth about 10 times per cigarette. A person smokes 20 a day, they're touching their mouth 200 times a day, 30 days, 300 times a day, over a year it's 100,000 times a day. Unless they break this hand-to-mouth routine, they then start substituting sweets and chocolates and lollies and Mars bars. Of course they're going to be gaining weight. They need to be very, very aware that there's a change in their metabolic system as well. So the whole weight issue needs to be addressed in conjunction with stopping smoking, and that's what we do.
And then also there's mood swings as well. You get narky and angry at everyone.
That's right. Well, again, it gets back to those poor people who try to quit smoking on New Year's Eve to change everything overnight. And of course, it's like losing a close friend. In fact, a lot of people, when they actually quit smoking, there's tears involved, because it's a lifestyle issue that they're suddenly changing. So sure, they can become irritable unless, again, they identify all the issues. The smoking, in actual fact, Andrew, in many, many ways, is in fact a Band-Aid that the person is in fact using to cover up the self-pity, the boredom, the anxiety, etc., etc.
Okay, well, we've got some tips. Why don't you help us through some of those?
Well, okay, first of all, when a person does in fact quit smoking, because the metabolic rate is changing, they need to, for example, do more exercise. They need to address...
And that addresses the weight thing as well?
Address the weight thing together with the hand-to-mouth thing at the same time.
Okay.
They need to look at other areas of their lifestyle. For example, if they are a very heavy coffee drinker, now coffee contains caffeine, and caffeine does the same thing as nicotine, makes the blood vessels constrict, makes the heartbeat faster. So a person who's a smoker and a coffee drinker, they're going up, down all day long, so they need to start having a good look at their coffee intake as well. Same thing with the alcohol. There are many, many areas that have to be addressed effectively, otherwise they can go back to smoking. For example, if a person is thinking of quitting smoking because my husband, my wife, or my doctor said, you better quit smoking, that's the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
They need to go into the whole process to look at the benefits that they can gain for themselves. And if they're going to be looking at things like health, well, that doesn't carry very much weight, because the government's been advertising all these scare tactics for years and years and doesn't make much of a difference. They need to look at the benefits that they can gain today. I won't have bad breath, I won't have nicotine-stained fingers. They need to look at all the advantages that they can gain now, not sometime in the future.
And the bottom line must be the person has to want to stop smoking. You can't try and stop smoking because your wife or your husband wants you to.
That's right, that's right. It has to come from self, although we know that something like 90% of all smokers have had thoughts of quitting smoking. But it's a very, very hard thing for many, many people to actually get professional help, whether it be from us or anyone else. They feel it's degrading.
Okay, well, Philip, you're from Smokenders. Here's the phone number for Smokenders to just give you an idea. It's 1-800-021-000, and there are free seminars throughout Australia this week.
That's correct.
So there's the number, 1-800-021-000. Give them a call and maybe they can help you out. Philip, you went from 40 a day for 18 years to nothing.
It's absolutely zero, and this was 13 years ago, so I'm a very happy non-smoker.
I'm sure you are. Philip Feinstein, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.